Welcome to the STP National Finals here at Santa Pod for the 6th and final round of the Motorsport UK British Drag Racing Championship for the Pro Modifieds. It's a two-day event which started off under glorious sunny skies. We've got 3 qualifying sessions to look forward to before the all-important race day tomorrow. 9 cars entered, including a new driver to the class who we'll see later on. So it's 7 teams from the UK, 1 from the Netherlands and 1 from all the way down in the south of France. John Webster in the Fast Company Mustang looking to regain his form from earlier in the season, and Bobby Wallace from Wallace Motorsport hunting for his first 5-second run. With Mark not qualifying at the Euro Finals, Kev has closed the gap on the Voodoo Hemi team, meaning either of them could win the championship. Jean Delemont and the Bad Apple team moved up into 3rd after their stellar weekend at the Euro Finals, running their first ever 5 and making it all the way to the final. So the first pair on this glorious day at Santa Pod, going to be Mick Payne taking on Wayne Nicholson with the Lucky Devil. Very up and down season for both, some really high spots and but unfortunate low ones as well. Mick Payne lost the door due to tyre shake back at the European Finals. No big deal, these doors bounced fairly well and it was back on for the next qualifying session without any problem. Wayne Nicholson didn't qualify at the European Finals, looking to get back where he knows he can be, down into the low 60s. Here we go, first pair. Terrific launch for Wayne Nicholson and a new personal best. 6:27 with an 8, 228 miles an hour. Same in the other lane. Mick Payne as well goes 6:71. Their quickest runs ever. On board with Mick, you can see Wayne disappearing in the distance in the Corvette. Mick's doing his best to run him down. Well, that's only the first pair. We've got lots more of that to come. John Webster rebuilt with the Turbo Mustang taking on Bobby Wallace. Bobby Wallace went 6:03 just a couple of weeks ago at the European Finals. John Webster really looking to get back in the 6.2s, 6.1s and, well, even quicker, obviously. Lots of repair work gone on since the Mopars back in the summer. Well, John, problem staging, no trouble at all for Bobby Wallace. Great baseline run with a Willis at 6:08, 227. Can't believe I'm saying baseline run. That was incredibly quick. Bobby number 1 for the moment. So Nick Davis on a bye run. Think due to take on Jean Delemont, but Jean didn't make it out for this run. Almost instant tyre spin for Nick. And the Firebird, he was another one in the 6.0s. He ran the fastest speed ever for a UK Pro Modified at 249 miles an hour. Needs to do it again this weekend though. So, numbers 1 and 2 in the championship last out in this first qualifying session. Mark Hartvelt with the Voodoo Hemi. Kev Slyfield with the repaired Blown Bird on the far side of the racetrack. Not much in it at the moment, less than a round between them. However, crucially at this point, it's Mark Hartvelt with the lead. Kev Slyfield cracked the rear end on the car, well, pretty terminally back at the European Finals. An awful lot of work gone in by the team to get ready for this weekend. A couple of absolute flyers to open with. 5.96 at nearly 240 for Mark. Kev Slyfield with a 5.98 at 2.37. Mark's car still pulls to the left but doesn't quite get over the centre line. He actually had the shootout before the finish line too. So, licensing run for newcomer to UK Pro Mod, Matt Peters. Car previously owned by Norbert Kuno. This is Matt's first ever real race car, and what a car to go racing with. Very well controlled. And hopefully he'll be racing with everybody really soon. Let's catch up with Kev Slyfield after that first run.
We struggled from tyre shake all weekend in qualifying, right way through qualifying. Every run we had quite heavy tyre shake. And then in the elimination against David, the axle basically gave up, just cracked in 2 pieces, and that was the end of our weekend.
Well, obviously a lot of work to get it fixed, ready for this event. You're back, you're out testing yesterday, and from what I hear, there were more problems then.
Yeah, well, as it turns out, probably the third member gears, the diff gears, must have got cracked in that same incident, which we didn't spot, and we came out yesterday for a little bit of testing, and the last run yesterday evening we got back and it was obvious that there was a problem because the car was making funny noises, and got back and sure enough the gears had broken, so luckily we've got a spare, so we put the spare third member in and then good to go again.
Well, I guess that shows why testing is so important, doesn't it? Because you came out first qualifier this time, we had side-by-side 5, so it looks like we're back on target.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, we've pretty much gone back to basics this weekend because we were so far off it at the Euro finals. So we've gone back to basics and it seems to be working. We're just chipping away at it still. So
yeah, 6:27 to 29.97 or something close to that. PB on ET and speed. But the speed is like 4.5 miles an hour faster than we've been before.
So that gives you somewhere to start working from, because you've had a bit of inconsistency, haven't you, really, the last few events?
Yeah, it's a run like that makes you realise you love drag racing more than you hate it. And sometimes I hate it, but it keeps you coming back. And that was, dare I say it, just an A to B run, which is we've been trying far too hard, and it's frustrating because it's there, and you just occasionally make the wrong decision or something doesn't work as good as it should do, and it's tough. But I'm very happy with that.
I mean, you've obviously been running the blower cars for a long time. You see the turbos are gradually starting to get their act together. No thoughts of ever changing to anything like that?
Turbos. I've got 2 words to say about turbos. The first one's and the second one's I take my hat off to them. I won't touch a turbos. Subarus, yeah, that's what they sound like to me. Nitrous, I've run nitrous before, yeah, I'd try nitrous, but no. A real pro mod car, everybody out there is a blown car.
Well, as everybody toes down for the second qualifying session, his thoughts on turbo cars are interesting, to say the least. Let's hope he doesn't get paired up with one in round 1. Well, maybe he does, actually. We'll see. Anyway, everyone getting set for the second qualifying run. Jean Delemont didn't get to put in a pass in the first session, and he's number 3 in the points at the moment, looking to consolidate that here this weekend after a great weekend of the European finals. Well, not much of a burnout for Jean. Nick Davis on the other side of the racetrack, looking to get down in the 6-0s again. Nick and Rob Loring, I say chipping away at it, they've more been sledgehammering at it this summer. They came off the trailer back at Easter, won a round, went over 240 for the first time, and ever since then the car has been getting faster and faster, incrementally slightly quicker as well. They can hold it together from one end to the other. This is one beastly quick race car. On the subject of holding it together, Jean all the way through with a 6:09 at 2:41. That's going to make him feel better. Nick got back in it again and went 6:88 at 2:09. That's a little bit of a pooch for that car. It goes way quicker than that normally. Tyre shake slows the best of them down. So Wayne Nicholson paired up with the turbo car. I wonder if John Webster knows his thoughts. That's a great thing about Pro Mod. Everybody chooses their own path. There's 3 different power adders, nitrous, turbo and blower, to choose from. In the very early days, it was mainly nitrous cars, then it was mostly blower cars, and then the turbo cars came of age in the last few years. And they run some absolutely monster terminal speeds when everything works as it should. John Webster immaculately turned out Fast Company Mustang. And Wayne Nicholson, we're the lucky devil, looking to back up his PB from the first qualifying session. Well, a pretty good side-by-side run. Wayne was pedalling it on the far side. John goes 6:87, good speed, 2:25. Wayne slows down slightly to a 6:40 at 2:21. But any day you get to go to the finish line and pull the chutes a couple of times in a row is a good day. So, Bobby Wallace and Kev Slyfield. Kev at the moment in the number 2 spot. Ideally, he wants the number 1 qualifying position. Then again, doesn't everybody? However, luckily to the weekend, attracts an extra 5 bonus points, and he just misses them by that much. Goes 5.96 with a 9, one of his quickest runs ever. But the last 1,000th was just that little bit off Mark Hartwell's time. Great run for Bobby Wallace at 6.07 again, 2.26. So it is Mark Hartwell with a Voodoo Hemi, taking on Mick Payne with Murray. Hardly really showing any battle scars from the door form off. Well, Mark long gone, tyre shake, and gets his foot back in it again, and the front end goes skyward. Not representative runs for either of those two. But Mark still finishes the session in number 1. So, getting late in the day, here on the Saturday at the National Finals, everybody toes down for their last qualifying run of the year. Everybody's pretty much safely in the show. Some of them definitely want to get in better runs than they already have. A couple of personal bests already in qualifying. Can we add a couple more in the final session? We are about to find out. So Wayne with the tyre warmer on the Lucky Devil Corvette. 6.27 and 6.40 of him been his runs earlier. As Victor Bray once said, he ain't really looking to go any slower in this one. Really good launch and short numbers, but then a pop. Sounded like a burst panel went. Still goes 7.14 at 1.45, but he will finish with a 6.27, his best run so far this weekend. John Delamont and Nick Davis one more time. John's already qualified nicely with a 6.0. Nick is in the show as well, but a 6.8 is nothing like what they want. Around about a second quicker would be nice. As Rob Loring very honestly said back at the European Finals, they have a car that can go quick and fast, but they don't have a race car, i.e. something that repeats and does the same thing again. John goes 6.05, 6.44, pedalling again for Nick Davis at 2.30, still with a bit of tyre shake off the start line. How did John Delamont keep that away from the centre line? Some terrific driving from him this summer. John Webster and Bobby Wallace, once again two drivers, well I say that, Bobby pretty much where he wants to be, 2 6.0 ones. John Webster, I presume at the moment, would kill for a 6.0 pass. His best of the season is a 6.2 back at the door slammers, but the combination has changed, the rear engine gear ratios and a couple of other things since that event. Obviously with the intention of going quicker and faster. Let's see what he can pull out in the last run of the season. Over towards the wall and has to back out of it wisely so. Bobby goes 6.26 at 2.22, falls off pace slightly. And your last pair. At the moment, these are numbers 1 and 2. Mark Hartwell by just a few measly thousandths of a second is the number 1 qualifier. Number 2 on the far side is Kev Slyfield. However, Kev would love for that order to change in the other direction because he wants to go into race day as number 1. Well, Kev with a bit of shaken out of shape. He backs out of it because he's not going to improve. Mark Hartwell pedals for tyre shake 2. Still goes 6.09 at 2.33. Very, very nicely indeed. Sets up race day.
Well, that's going a little bit better, isn't it, after this morning?
Oh yeah, we're really happy with that.
You've been making a few changes clutch-wise, I hear.
Yeah, and gear ratios in the Lenco as well.
So, are you at the stage now, because obviously you've had the car for a few years, but you've had work commitments and haven't been able to come to every event. You had various little niggling problems. You had a Bruno to begin with. So do you think you've hit on a combination now that you can start going forwards?
Yeah, definitely. It's proved that by the results and the data we're getting back as well. Whereas before we couldn't even get any data because we couldn't get any runs in the car.
You've had this car for a few years. You obviously had the Artful Dodger for quite a few years before, and that was quite an exciting car. Are you, overall, this has been hard work, I'm sure, are you glad that you changed?
Oh, definitely, yeah. We went as far as we could with the old car because of chassis regs, and it just wasn't built for what we was trying to do with it. You know, this is a built, well-proven car, and when it came up on the market, it seemed silly not to buy it, really.
At the end of 3 hard-fought qualifying sessions, it's Mark Hartvelt just pipping Kev Slyfield to that number 1 spot. The extra points he'll get from that would increase his lead in the championship, putting more pressure on Kev Slyfield on race day.
Yeah, we're very pleased with the tune-up. We changed the 4-link stuff and the chocks, and what we did is working. So in the morning we against Kev we are both a 5.9, so that was good, a good setup.
Well, obviously it could be some very close racing tomorrow, but we think those extra few points means that he's got to win 2 more rounds. So it's looking good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's looking very good. Yeah, we have John Webster in the first round.
Will that put more pressure on you not to do something silly like red light?
Yeah, but I take it easy tomorrow. Serious, yeah. Normally I'm fast on the light, but I take it easy. Yeah.
That's got to be one of the biggest lies in history. A pro mod driver saying, "I'm just going to take it easy." Honestly, yeah. You don't win by taking it easy, especially in this class. Everybody coming down for round 1. The matchups are Wayne Nicholson and Bobby Wallace, Nick Davis, Jean de Le Monde, Kev Slyfield taking on Mick Payne, and John Webster is going to be running against Mark Hartvelt. Can John Webster do this man in the screen now? Kev Slyfield a big favour in round 1. We're about to find out. Well, the skies are very threatening here on race day. We've already had one shower delay things a bit. Hopefully it stays off for the duration of the day. So Bobby Wallace was due to take on Wayne Nicholson, whatever the pop was from the supercharger yesterday for Wayne. Unfortunately spelt the end of his weekend. Bobby hops and skips off the start line, pedals it, gets his foot back in it again, all the way through to a 6.51 at 2.24. Round wins that count at this time of the season though. There we go, look at that, spinning off towards the wall, but Bobby expertly pedals it, keeps it in the middle of his lane. So, these two paired up a few times in qualifying. Nick Davis and Jean de Le Monde both have had pretty good seasons. Jean has had his best ever season, actually, proper breakout season in Pro Mod. But when I say breakout season, he's been running in the class now for 10 years. First ever 5-second run, first time in the final, 3rd place in the UK Pro Mod Championship at the moment. And the man on the far side, Nick Davis for US Automotive and BUA Motorsport. Gets the jump off the start line, spins the tyres. Jean de Le Monde goes way out of shape. Way out of shape and fully over the centre line. That 6.44 is not Nick Davis's number. He clicked it off and it was a good job he did as well, because Jean de Le Monde was throwing orange blocks at him. But he still gets the round win, unbelievable. You can see Jean absolutely all over the place. Blocks replaced. We're good to go for the next pair. Now, Bobby Wallace and Nick Davis, unbelievably at the moment. I would say unbelievably for Nick, because that was not the way they wanted to keep going in eliminations. But they are there. Big one here for Kev Slyfield, taking on Mick Payne. Now, Mick did run his personal best in qualifying. However, he's still some way off the performance of that Red Thunderbird on the far side. Once again, I'm sure Kev wants to thank his whole team for the massive effort they've put in over the last couple of weeks since the European Finals, fixing the car, getting it ready here for this first round matchup, which will go to the Thunderbird, because out the window he saw Mick Payne go red. A 31 red for Mick Payne means Kev Slyfield is into the semi-finals. However, the skies are darkening before this last matchup between John Webster and Mark Hartvelt. Both complete their burnouts very nicely indeed. And like I said earlier, Kev Slyfield is John Webster's biggest fan at the moment. If he can take out Mark, he'll be doing him a massive favour in the points. Mark Hartvelt, after a horrible season last year with a crash, didn't actually get to make any competitive runs last year. This year has been pretty much nothing but good. His first 5-second runs, couple of event wins, and you can see the rain. Actually, you can see an awful lot of rain, to be honest with you. Unfortunately for everybody, that was the end of proceedings. With the cars covered up behind the start line, they did wait it out, but it just kept coming down. It never cleared up. And after that, spectators waiting it out too. Mark Hartvelt with a big thumbs up. Well, even though he didn't get to contest round one, he will be crowned your 2019 Motorsport UK Pro Mod champion.
Yeah, it was a really good season. We came from nothing to where we standing now, the champion. So, yeah, it was not expected today. About the race and the rain. We prefer to race and then win, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
And we have to remember as well, the car really is brand new this year, isn't it? Because it was rebuilt after last year.
Yeah, the car is really brand new. We rebuilt everything, and everything what we do, it's working. So, and we set a fast ET last Saturday, so it was really great. Yeah.
And it must have been really good racing in such a competitive season as well.
Yeah, a race against Kev was exciting, and everybody stepped up to faster ETs, and so that was really exciting. Yeah.
So the final points of the 2019 Motorsport UK British Championship look like this, with Mark, Kev, John, Nick, John and Wayne all getting the 100-point bonus for attending all 6 rounds. Huge congratulations once again to our friends from the Voodoo Hemi Racing team, taking the championship in a season where they ran their first ever 5-second pass. It's been quite a year, and I for one can't wait for 2020 when we do it all over again. See you next year, folks, back here at Santa Pod Raceway.